Round two, we, funny enough, have another version of Death Shed on the other side. This is a fine hand to keep. We have both of our win conditions. We have, well, half of one and the other. We have a ramp spell. We are on the draw, so it's a little bit awkward. So we've got to put together a few pieces, and our opponent going Swamp, Mishra's Bauble is potentially an issue. He could just end up killing us very quickly if he gets some good cards off these Mishra's Baubles. He targets me with both Mishra's Baubles, which is fine. So he knew my top card, and now he knows my next card. If I remember correctly, this opponent eventually targets himself, so that's kind of cool and unique. Kind of giving himself some more information. I actually think that after the first Mishra's Bauble, maybe that he should target himself with another one. Maybe this is the one that he does target himself with. So he gets to play turn 2 Tarmogoyf, which is pretty strong. And so he did target. No, he targeted me with that one. Yeah. So I think that one is for sure just kind of nonsense. Like, he knows I'm far seeking this turn, so he just kind of wasted it. I think that it doesn't really do anything for him to target him, but I don't know. It seems kind of like you could probably give yourself some more information if you just targeted yourself. So just to cast the Death Shadow so it dies. To grow his Tarmogoyf, which is fine. And that was not in fact Emrakul, it was a Gore Clan Rampager. The interface just kind of bugged out there. So we drew the other half of our Through the Breach. So as long as we don't die here, we should kill him. They don't really have a whole lot of interaction for this. Big 6/6, Trample Haste, kill you is probably just going to kill him next turn. So we just need to survive through a Tarmogoyf. He could have cards like Tarfire, but that's still not enough. So if he's playing Gore Clan, he could have Temur Battle Rage. I've seen that kind of fall by the wayside a lot more recently. So it's not as normal to have that card, even in these red variants, but he did have a Kolaghan's Command, which was fine, dealing 2 to me and getting his Gore Clan back. Little does our opponent know that he's just dead. He's just dead. So if we play this mountain here, we can go get Valakut, and then mountain, and he's for sure. I mean, he's dead regardless, basically, as long as we get a Valakut and then 2 mountains. At some point, he's just dead. So, just going to attack for lethal, and there's not anything that our opponent can do for it. He's got a 5/6, we're at 5, he's just dead. Once again, I think that this matchup is actually favorable. I think this matchup being favorable is a reason to play this deck, because neither one of you really interact, and like, unless they're playing Temur Battle Rage, most of the time, even as fast as they go, you're fine. Like, they don't interact with you enough for that to matter. You know, obviously they have Thoughtseize and Inquisition, but it just doesn't matter. Same exact board package, even though they don't have counterspells. Summoning Trap, Lightning Bolt. You know, not really a reason not to do this. You know, you could just keep Summoning Traps out and keep Lightning Bolts in since they don't have counterspells, but I kind of like that configuration. Especially now that we've boarded in more creatures, it just gives you, and Obstinate Bloodlust is not terrible. This hand's very good. This hand is actually, I mean, it needs both pieces, but this hand could potentially turn 3. Because we do have the Search for Tomorrow, we do have a turn 2 ramp spell, so potentially we could turn 3. But now we need to draw perfect. Oh, no, we only need a Through the Breach. I'm sorry, I forgot we had Sundered Backs. I'm literally watching it and still somehow forgetting. So, Mishra's Bauble. Yeah, see, that one, he targeted himself and then he fetched. You know, like, I understand that information is kind of, I think that information is kind of irrelevant for as far as like what I'm playing or whatever, but it was just strange. Like information is information. He definitely could have like Mishra's bobbled me and got information. It's a small thing, but maybe it matters. So we get to play a Sakura Tribe Elder here and have our life total preserver. Important that we don't have any non-basics for a Fulminator Mage that's out of the board. So we're kind of protected from that. Sometimes they play Liliana, so we've kind of got that interaction there with Obstinate Baloth. We can cast Obstinate Baloth next turn as well. So I think that right now I would say that I'm in a good position. But, things could get stagnant and could go south. Let me get the block. I don't know why, just press OK. States gets. I think we want the second forest. And the reason we want the second forest is if, although we have the search tomorrow, is at some point we want that forest because of Fulminator Mage. We would hate to get ourselves Fulminator Mage tier. So I think, oh yeah, this is the game where I actually next level myself. I end up losing this game because of this. I just thought of it. So I could have just like 18 him, and I didn't, because I put myself in a line of thinking that he could have a removal spell here because of like his way that he played the game. It felt like he could just have a removal spell here. So like putting myself on the hook for Through the Breach and only getting the 2 lands just felt like kind of irrelevant. But I think that that's still actually a mistake. So I ended up just casting the Obstinate Baloth, and I'm going to lose the game because of this. So this is, I think that there is some merit to not Through the Breach Summoner's Pacting, but at the same time, like, I should probably just always go for it there. Instead I didn't, and I'm going to get punished, as we will see. Could not remember where this game was in my series, but I do remember this happening. I just wanted to preserve my life total here once again because, like, if I draw now the thing is, like, even after he fulminates, if I just draw land, I'm a golden goose, because I just threw the breach here and kill it, but I didn't draw land. So this line actually kind of paid off in one way, but I didn't draw the land, and I didn't draw the land off the export either, which wouldn't have mattered, but we kind of wanted to draw land there so that I could like play land with my Valakut. Now, once again, I don't play the Valakut here, and I think this is fine in that I don't want to get Fulminator Mage Surgical again because that's going to be the way I'm going to win the game. So I kind of need to be able to have that. I have Through the Breach, and I have the Titan, Pseudo Titan in my hand in Summoner's Pact. So as long as I just dodge a card like Collective Brutality, I'm easy breezy. But he had the Collective Brutality, so I'm kind of getting punished everywhere along the way for these plays that I've made. And there is logic for them, but I think that I just got scared. I decided that I needed to do one thing when I leveled myself. I do go get the basic here, which is fine. We don't want to get Fulminator Mage in and not be able to cast our Primeval Titan next turn. That is inevitable. So yeah, like at every point in this game, like the two decisions that I made that make this game, both I got punished the next turn. I didn't draw the land when I could have just killed my opponent, and then I got Collective Brutality right after my opponent was, not doing much, and I could have just killed him. But it is what it is. I am most certainly not perfect, but it's unfortunate that I really remember tanking, and I don't know. I just feel like I may have leveled myself here. It should just be like Valakut, Primeval Titan. Uh, Not really sure what I was thinking about on this turn. Um, as I'm sitting here again thinking about it, I think that playing the Valakut, searching 2 Valakuts with Primeval Titan has its merits. Of course, if my Primeval Titan dies, I'm once again on the hook for needing to draw a land. Um, and specifically, it has to be a green land. So I end up going with this Summoning Trap line. And I do know why I did this. And once again, this is another kind of quirky decision that I've made this game that may have just punished me. If I do it this way, then I can Summoning Trap into X into cast another X next turn. Unfortunately, my opponent has Temur Battle Rage in his deck, and I just die. So I think I actually look at the top 7 cards and see that I would have gotten a Titan on the last one or something. Yeah, the last one. So this line would have been fine. But he had Temur Battle Rage. So, I mean, the line doesn't come without merit. If I go get the Primeval Titan, and I go get Valakut, because I truly can't afford to do anything else. Like, if I play my Valakut, and I go get Mountain and Dome him, then I can just get Fulminator Mage out of the game. If I play Valakut, go get Titan, Valakut, then I'm still on the hook for the Summoner's Pact, so I'll have no green sources. So then I need to draw a land that's a green source to Farseek. And that's that. But that line, am I blocking with my Titan there? Probably not. He has Gorkland in his deck. Like, I haven't seen the Battle Rage. I can assume that he has it. But, I mean, all the same, I'm just like, that's not good. So the way that I played that with the Summoner's Pact is, or Summoning Trap, is that I can potentially get one of my creatures, put it into play, and then next turn set myself up for casting a Titan that I go get with Summoner's Pact, and be set up. And I think that is more consistent. But once again, my opponent, at the 3 main decision points in the game, my opponent was able to punish me to the max all 3 times. So I could be convinced that I was incorrect in my thinking, but I could also understand what I did. This hand is kind of played out in an awkward kind of way. We got Thoughtseize and now Inquisitioned. We have not drawn a whole lot of lands. We get to get a basic forest here. We can easily get Fulminator Maged out of this game. That's a very real possibility. And we've got 2 Primeval Titans in our hand. Our opponent has taken 2 ramp spells. So if we just get Fulminator Maged here, we're pretty dead. Spoiler alert. Our opponent does have the Fulminator Mage, and we're taking 8 plus losing one of our lands. So we're really in a bad spot. Really in a bad spot. Oh, he has a Collective Brutality. There you go. Collective Brutality. Look at that. That's a really good one, right? I think he Fulminator Mages here, and it's just pretty poor for me. Just to seal the deal. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just kills me. I mean, Fulminator Mage would not be technically dead because I could draw a Sakura Tribe Elder and block. Because he's only got 1 card in hand. So yeah, Fulminator Mage, Sakura Tribe Elder. Boom, that doesn't do it. And we're dead. So there were a few things that went on there. Like I said, the big three decisions in game two um, didn't pay off at all. So you can look at them as missed plays or whatever. I think the upside was there for all three. Um, I think that the biggest mistake of the three was not just going for it on turn three or whatever when he had the 2 mana up. I think I probably should have just pulled the trigger there. That is probably the one that was the biggest mistake. I think the other two plays are kind of justified. They just make sense if you really look at them logically. Especially the last one on the turn that I die. I think that if I just go get a Primeval Titan there, I'm on the hook one way or another, whichever way I fetch lands with Primeval Titan. So I'm kind of hamstring no matter what. If he has a Fulminator Mage, and that's a card that they board in 4 of. If he doesn't, I just win. But I think that I just win if I just cast Summoning Pact 2. And the other thing is, I'm not blocking there, so I'm just going to die regardless. So that play ended up not mattering as much because I just died regardless. But it kind of gives some insight to where we were there. And how our decisions could punish us against Death Shadow. And Death Shadow is very powerful, so it was a good game. Just unfortunate to lose. So right now we're 1-1 versus Death Shadow. We've lost 2 a variant and beat a variant. So let's go to the next game.